Hello, everybody. This is Dave Robinson, father of geologist Daniel Cornelius Robinson. Just want to tell you guys, thank you guys for coming in on this Q&A prime time. I will be talking about the timeline again this week, as well as I'll be talking about the protests that I have in the mail-in protest. And if you guys have any questions about the case, you guys will have a point where you can come in and ask those questions. So again, I just want to tell you guys, thank you so much for being a part of this Q&A. Again, I'm David Robinson, father of geologist Daniel Cornelius Robinson. Thank you again for being here. We'll go ahead and get to it.
When the lights and camera turn off, I will be here. When the interest and conversation fade, I will be here. When there's no one around, a father will do anything it takes to be there for his son, to protect his family.
Daniel Robinson went missing 4 months ago. This is the last photo his family has of him. He's a 24-year-old geologist, last seen leaving his job site in Buckeye, Arizona.
As the Gabby Petito homicide case garners national attention, another young person has been missing for nearly 3 months, and his family is desperate to find him. 24-year-old Daniel Robinson, a geologist, was last seen on the morning of June 23rd, leaving his work site in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona.
David Robinson had only one thought on his mind as he drove the nearly 1,800 miles from his South Carolina home to Phoenix.
I had to find my son. And thank you guys for helping me search for him. My name is David Robinson. I'm the father of geologist Daniel Cornelius Robinson. First of all, again, thank you guys for coming in this Q&A this evening and joining in with me to talk about my son's case. It's been a long road. You guys know it's been almost near 2 years coming that my son has been missing. Went missing out there in the Sonoran Desert. A geologist, a smart, intelligent young man, starting his life, his career in geology, the field of geology, something that he loved. Been around nature and things like that. We from South Carolina, graduated from the College of Charleston, South Carolina. From there, he graduated honors, you guys. From there, he took his career, his degree out to Phoenix, Arizona. He landed his first job immediately coming out into Arizona with an engineering company called Matrix New World. It's also called Matrix Southwest Groundwater. They hired him on as a field geologist. Is also called a hydrogeologist, where he go out to various well sites all across Arizona. Arizona has a law where any communities out there in Arizona, being a desert state, have to have these groundwater wells, and those groundwaters have to produce at least 100 years of water, especially with new projects. Those projects cannot be built if the water cannot sustain that community. My son's job is very important for that, to determine that if those groundwaters indeed can produce that amount of water for new projects. That's what he was doing on June 23rd, you guys. He's out in the Sonoran Desert. He ended up going out there to meet one other guy from a company called Weber. The story, what happened to my son, the narrative, and all that was based on one man's testimony. What he said happened out there the day that my son decided, according to for his job's sake, was sent out there to do a job in the Sonoran Desert at a well site. And the guy said my son met him out of Sun Valley Parkway, which is outside of that desert area. And my son followed him into that desert. They went 1 mile west, 2 miles north to get the well site. And there, my son went missing. They got there around 9 o'clock that morning, he said, 9 o'clock that morning. And by 9:15, my son was gone. He waved out to him to never be seen ever again, you guys. Almost 30 days later, my son's vehicle showed up in this ravine right here behind me, just like this vehicle. Zach, this is that picture. Of course, I have put overlays over, but that's the picture of my son's vehicle sitting in that ravine. It's a 20-foot ravine. It's deceiving with the pictures, but a 20-foot ravine. The clothing was on the outside, 3 feet away from the vehicle. You can see it here. The clothing 3 feet away from the vehicle in the pile. According to the Buckeye Police Department, everything on my son's body, from his underwear to his sock, was in that pile. And there was no Daniel. Of course, the Buckeye Police Department claimed they did searches in this area with cadaver dogs from Maricopa County to using all the equipment, their specialized equipment. They haven't found anything. According to the Buckeye detective, they didn't even have, the dogs couldn't even pick up a scent that would suggest that Daniel was out there in that location. If this indeed was his clothing, if Daniel would have walked off from that area, there's no doubt these dogs should have been able to pick up something, right? But anyway, they didn't find anything. They didn't find anything, zero, no construction cone, anything out there in the desert for my son. Of course, you guys know the first initial search for my son happened almost 3 days after he went missing. It was under my request. It's been denied the day of on June 23rd of 2021, and then the day after it was denied again. Eventually, they ended up claiming they did this helicopter search of Phoenix Firebird helicopter. To date, there's no record been found of that. Of course, you guys, I'm here tonight to talk about the timeline and also what you guys, how you guys can help. So I want to jump into the timeline so I can have some time to talk to you guys. I apologize to you guys who came this morning and probably didn't see a Q&A this morning. I didn't put in the indication to let you guys know I wasn't going to do a Q&A other than go ahead and put the primetime Q&A in the slot. You guys will look at the time and saw that the time for the Q&A would have been tonight. I didn't do a Q&A this morning. But thank you guys for coming in this evening. I want to say thank you, Doohickey, for the super chat. God bless you for that. Really kind of you. You guys have been supporting from day one. I really appreciate that. God bless you for that. And also thank you, Country Girl, for being here as well. Yes, thank you so much for the birthday wishes, you guys. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Country Girl, for being here. And also thank you, Sue, for being here. God bless you. Good evening to you. Also, PM Channel, thank you so much. Good evening to you as well. Thank you, T and Wildflower. Thank you so much for being here as well. God bless you for all that you do. Again, Doohickey, thank you. I apologize. I'm in the hospital. Oh, God bless you. We're going to pray for you to make sure that, we're going to keep a prayer for you. And I'm going to make sure I do that when I get off this Q&A, that you get speedy recovery and healing. You don't have to apologize, but I have been watching and sharing streams. I really appreciate that. Even from the hospital, I really appreciate you showing that love. Much love and respect to all. Thank you so much, Doohickey. I really appreciate that. God bless you like I said, as soon as I get off of this, well, matter of fact, Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, for this night, this evening. And you have asked you, Heavenly Father, to bless Doohickey. Her name or his name, her name. And you definitely can put healing there. I really appreciate that. Put healing, speedy recovery. You know what the situation is. We ask you for in Jesus' name, pray, man. Thank you guys for that. Doohickey, I want to make sure I do that so when I get off, there's nothing will come between that and I don't get a prayer. But I will be doing the prayer as well once I get off the Q&A. But thank you so much for being here, despite of you being in the hospital. So, like I said, I really hope you get a speedy recovery. So thank you so much for being here. PM Channel, thank you again for being here as well. I really appreciate it. God bless you for being here. Anissa, thank you so much for the super chat as well. Your constant support, and I really appreciate you. Sent out 2 sets of letters. My husband and I each sent a set of 4 to the 4 locations. Sent them all registered mail, so I would have proof that they were delivered. And yes, and thank you, Anissa. If you can, what I want you guys to do is I have a date. If you guys look on the website, it's a window. I need you guys to stick into that window. And the reasons why is because I need that all those mail need to come in at the same time. Need to be overwhelming. You know what I'm saying? Because for it to come in sparingly, it'll be like everyday business for them. Everyday business when they really have an impact that I'm looking for. The impact I'm looking for is everything coming all at one time and be very overwhelming in some aspects. So that would get some type of attention, you guys, and that's what I'm looking for. But I really appreciate Nissa, you and your husband, for what you have done, and I really appreciate you doing that exactly what you did. So God bless you for that. Thank you for super chat, and I really thank you for your constant support and your love, and actually even coming out to the searches. I really appreciate that. And you travel just to get there. So thank you so much. God bless you. Also, let's see who else I got here. Oh, thank you, Doohickey, for the hashtag, you guys. The hashtags are still there. We're still utilizing those to bring some awareness to today's case. If you guys are new here, please hit that like, share, subscribe button before you leave. That will help the algorithms on this channel as well to get Dane's story out a lot farther. Even if you're not planning to come back again, if you can do that for me, I really appreciate it. That would help as much as possible to get Dane's story out there. Thank you, Stevie, for being there. I pray daily that this family finds answer to Daniel's disappearance. Thank you so much. No matter how much time goes by, yes, I'm not giving up until he's found. Daniel will be forgotten. in due time, he will be found. Many prayers. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Stevie. I really appreciate it. God bless you for being here. Anybody else? I will be coming down, and thank you for the belated birthday wishes, Diane. I really appreciate that. I will be coming down to comment session a little later. For right now, I'm going to try to go through the timeline, you guys. I want to go to timeline. I want to go through this really quickly. That way, I can have time for more questions and things like that that you guys may have. For Daniel's case, to try to locate him, get information that you guys need to learn more about the case. So again, thank you so much again for being here, and I definitely want you guys to go along with me on this timeline. I have it's going to be some of the same things, but I have a few things that's different on there. I wanted to add the K9 onto the K9 search to it, which I will again later add that K9 search to it. But I will show you one page of the K9 search tonight that I had out there in the desert and what the K9s have found. And the reason why I'm really reluctant and really kind of believing I really believe in what the rancher said is that the day that vehicle showed up, there wasn't any helicopters out there. Even though they're saying they have and all this kind of stuff, I would like to see the evidence of that. First of all, the other part is it goes along with him saying also he talked to the Maricopa County and Buckeye, and they said that all the Maricopa County dogs was in training when that vehicle showed up, and there's only one. They had one dog that came out. I'm not sure if it was a cadaver dog, what type it was, but he said the dog came out around 10 o'clock that night. And they only been out there for less than an hour before they came back and said something about a mountain lion was stalking the dog, one dog. And that would explain a lot of things, the reason why certain things wasn't found out there, you guys. Like I said, what I want to talk about here tonight. So again, thank you so much, you guys. I'm going to share the screen here. And this share the screen is the part of the timeline. We'll be going through that, of course, with you guys. Timeline. Have you seen Daniel? Have you seen my son? And geologist Daniel Cornelius Robinson. He was missing on June 23rd, 2021. This is a flyer, you guys. This is pretty much, if you guys ask for flyers, go to please help find Daniel, yahoo.com, and you can request those flyers to be sent out to you. But they have a QR code on it. On the little difference is in the center part there. But this is the flyer that will be coming to you. Have two different sizes that you may need. But definitely want to keep Daniel's case going out there. So humanity speaks out. If anybody know anything, please allow empathy to and encourage to be your guide. Know something, say something. And that's the thing, you guys. That's a tip line number there. You see it, 844-602-0660. Also, you guys, my son, Daniel, graduate of College of Charleston in Charleston, South Carolina. And let me see if I can get this off real quick here. But he's a graduate of the College of Charleston in Charleston, South Carolina. He graduated with a degree in geology. And, like I said, I'm proud of my son. He's done a lot. He's been doing a whole lot. Accomplishment from since he was going to school, you guys. We have so many awards from Daniel, from junior high, from elementary, junior high, and high school, all the way up to college. He's been doing very well for himself. So he earned his degree, did very well. And like I say, he graduated 2019. So this is his picture. He's very proud. I'm very proud. His family, his mother, his siblings, everybody is very proud of of his accomplishments. All right. Also, let's see here. Got the next one. I have to tap the screen. All right. I just threw this in again. I'm skip this picture of the night that me and Daniel went out after his graduation. Of course, like I told you guys, Daniel, once he left college, he had to go take a class in Flagstaff, Arizona. The class was part of his graduation. I don't know why, how that thing worked, but that's exactly what was going on at the time. And we thought as a family, I know for myself, that he would be coming back to South Carolina. We could have got him set up to do, get ready for some things, but Daniel decided to stay in Arizona. I guess once he saw Arizona, he fell in love with Arizona. At the same time, one of his friends from college, parents, had a business called Matrix New World, Metro Southwest Groundwater. They're the owners of that company, engineering company, and that was Daniel's friend. Of course, his friend, I'm sure, talked to his parents, and his parents gave Daniel the opportunity to get a job at Matrix New World. And this is him right here with his Matrix New World hat on. And like I said, Daniel, they hired him on as a hydrogeologist. also called a field geologist. He's been there for a little over 2 years before he went missing. Okay, and so you guys, like I said, the way you see how he's dressed for his job, Daniel takes his job seriously. He's a clean cut guy. Of course, people talk about Daniel smoking weed. Of course, he did on his leisure time. Of course, in Arizona is legal. And also, the fact Daniel is a very responsible young man. He's not going to do anything like that on the job. So I just wanted to point that out. Also, there's a picture of Daniel and his mother. Like I said again, many time on here, it's one of my favorite pictures of them. And when he was younger, and also a picture of Daniel with what he loved the most, like I said, to be out in Arizona and be out in the mountains area, and as well as a picture of myself when doing the first few searches I have had out there in the desert, searching for Daniel. This is actually a current of mine that I searched when I kind of first started my searches. The same mine that I searched the Buckeye Police Department later. That's near the crash site where the vehicle showed up. But later, say that they searched about 3 months after I looked into this mine. All right. Also, June 23rd, 2021, Daniel was last seen Matrix New World. One of the workers named Roger, one of Daniel's friends, came out to my daughter's apartment to inquire if Daniel was there. Of course, he wasn't there. My daughter was really, really concerned. This for two things. For first of all, does God know where she lived? The second part is that he was asking for Daniel. Of course, she called me and we talked about that, and I gave her all the due diligence that we need to do to make sure nothing ain't going on. Go to Daniel's apartment to check it out while I was making phone calls. I checked with his mother, talked with some of the friends, all the family members, you name it, to see if anybody heard from Daniel. But my daughter went over to his apartment, and his doors were locked, his vehicle's gone, but she was able to peek through a patio little blinds or whatever, and saw that the living room light was on. And having that been the case, when she reported that back to me, the first thing I'm thinking is some type of foul play is going on. And of course, I called the Tempe Police Department, you guys, to do a welfare check. They listened to me, the dispatcher listened to me, but once I utilized, she asked the question if anybody have seen him. I said, well, some guy came, pretty much told her how the guy came to my daughter's apartment, saying that he's one of the workers from his job, and last place they saw him was near some White Tank Mountains. And when I used that word, White Tank Mountains, the Tempe Police Department declined to help. They told me I need to call the Buckeye Police Department, which I ended up doing. But by the time I was talking to the Buckeye Police Department, it was well past the time when I look at the clock, where with not being able to get in contact with Daniel, we put all those things together. It was well past the time that Daniel would be gone without telling somebody something. It was over 6 hours, and that was very problematic for me once I got the timing right, because Arizona is on that time of the year is 3 hours behind South Carolina. And so, of course, I tried to put a missing person report in. The Buckeye Police Department told me I couldn't. I had to wait 12 hours, and they told me I didn't know their policy at the time. I found out later, hindsight, there was no such policy. But nevertheless, I was told to wait 12 hours. I had to wait a full 12 hours before I can report them missing. And so I wait around the house for another 3 hours, and then I ultimately reported. The Buckeye Police Department, again, once they took the report, Officer Cruz seemed very helpful. He took a lot of information. He talked to the guy that seen my son last, Ken. He talked to the coworkers. I got all the information I can for him. Anything I could do to help, we was working together. He told me him and another officer will be going into the area where Daniel was missing. At the time, I didn't know this area. I just heard of White Tank Mountains. I didn't know, but he mentioned the word Sun Valley Parkway. He said that they would be going up and down Sun Valley Parkway to see if he's stuck on the side of the road in the area. And they have never went in the desert. They just went in the area. But once I found out that Daniel was missing in the desert, I requested them to go into that desert, and I requested them to take a helicopter to go look for him. It was declined. And of course, they told me they could do it in the morning. Right. So the morning came. Of course, you guys know that his higher ups, the officer Haley that came in to take his place, said his higher ups declined and restricted that search, helicopter search, because they said he's a grown man. If he wants to disappear on his own, he can. And it was an assumption. Of course, my family heard about it. I talked to them about that. And my auntie was very angry about hearing that as well. And she wanted to call the Buckeye Police Department. When at that point, that's when I was actually started heading up to Arizona already. And she called, whatever she said to them, they definitely finally said it was going to get a Phoenix Firebird helicopter to go search for Daniel. Of course, you guys, the people that I contacted up front, of course, was once I was the Buckeye was Tempe Police Department first. Of course, then it was the Buckeye Police Department. From there, once I got to Arizona, I went to reach out to the NAACP and also the Red Cross. Try to get all the help that I can get at the moment. The Tempe Police Department welfare check, like I said, was denied as a recap, and as well as the Buckeye Police Department. It was the search was denied on the 23rd, 24th, and part of the 25th was denied. Because you guys, the Buckeye Police Department, June the 26th was the first desert search for Daniel. They got on their report 25th. I have the 26th, and it was with the Phoenix Firebird helicopter that they claim. Hindsight, there is no record so far. I've been trying to get from out of Phoenix, and they can't find it. They say they're still searching. There's no record of that ever happening. This Phoenix Firebird helicopter. Also, this is the picture of the Phoenix Firebird helicopter. I've seen this bird a lot. Many times people get stuck on these mountains, especially ones like Camelback Mountain in Phoenix, and they'll utilize this helicopter to rescue people. So it's out there. If it's a helicopter, it is a rescue helicopter as part of the police and fire department. Spreading awareness. The Floyd Galloway show is one of the ones I reached out to when I made it to Arizona. First persons I reached out to. He's one of the ones who gave me my first break to get Daniel's story out there. You guys, I've been trying everything on social media, and I finally got a point to talk to this gentleman. Very good man. And he utilized his studio to get Daniel's story out. You can see the flyers there that I created initially and to get Daniel's story. Also did with Josh Sanders, one of the local news anchors at the time, reporters at the time. And he came out to the hotel to do interviews with me to get Daniel's story out to help in the case. He saw on social media as well as Arizona Friends and Families, another local news channel. And then it started going on from there. You guys, I've been going on from there, getting Daniel's story out as much as possible. Of course, you guys, the first thing I did when I came out to Arizona, I think I still haven't changed this date on this thing yet. I think it was 29th instead of 28th, but I did interview with Ken. He's the last person that seen my son out there in the snoring desert, and I had to look him eye to eye. You know, anytime a man tell you something different from what you know about your own child, you got to look at, especially as a father, you have to look at him eye to eye. He got to look in my eyes and tell me the things that he told law enforcement. When I talked to him, of course, he told me verbatim the way he told Officer Cruz, the first officer he talked to, and the first officer that reported back to me what he said that night on the when he was missing on the 23rd. Yeah, this was the first day when the day of Daniel being missing. So whatever was on Ken's mind at the time, his head, it was fresh and new. There was no mistaking his story. But he stuck to that strip until a little later he kind of changed the story. But this is the first thing I did when I did, like I said, I reached out to Daniel's job. They set the arrangement up for me to meet Ken off of Sunvalley Parkway and the Cactus Road, near the Cactus Road Junction. And the same as that place, you guys, where my son met Ken to follow him into this desert. So I can imagine that where I was parked is the same place Daniel was parked when he met Ken, because they said it. Ken, according to Ken, they had a conversation outside that gate at that gate. And once he met him at that gate, my son got in the vehicle and followed him into that desert, right? So, but this time when I got there, I did let the company know I was coming. I was near there, and they said Ken would be coming to the gate. He'd be at the gate waiting. And when I got there, this guy showed up. There was nobody waiting, but this guy showed up. I did call and to tell him I was at the gate. This guy a little while later showed up. I don't know who he is to this date. I still didn't get a name from him. But the only thing he was more concerned when he walked to the vehicle, he didn't let me even get out the car yet. He was walking to the vehicle to ask why I needed to see Ken. Right? I don't know if it's Ken's supervisor or what the case may be, but this guy was asking a lot of questions why I wanted to speak with Ken. Right? Tell him, hey, look, I'm just Daniel's father. I just want to talk to him about what he heard or seen last about, the story he told law enforcement about my son, of course. Still don't know who this guy is to the day. Just like I said, when he pulled up, we was waiting at the gate. He pulled up and he backed his vehicle up to the gate, got out, then he came to the vehicle, as you guys seen. Then later he got back. I got the vehicle. He walked back to his truck to call Ken. First, when you guys see him, so I want to back up. The first thing he did was offer me a ride back to the the well site, and I declined. And the reasons why, you guys, first of all, I thought it was very odd and strange to me, because the guy was saying, "Hey, look," because I asked him, "Look, how far is this well site?" He says, "Oh, about 20, 30 miles." And he gave me some big number, how far it was. And I thought it was like, man, that's far. That'll take a while, to get there. And he was kept begging me to get in the vehicle. Hey, can you come on? I'll give you a ride. Come on, you come with me, blah, 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 type deal. And I told him no, but he's insist on. We see him right there in this picture, is leaning over to the passenger side to reach over the passenger side and started knocking stuff off his seat, the passenger seat, and I guess a lot of trash, and to knock it on the floorboard and say, hey, you can give me a ride. And I told him, hey, no, I'm not going to leave these ladies up here at the gate. No, you can have Ken to come to me, right? So what he ended up doing, you guys, he got on the cell phone to call Ken. And once he got on the cell phone, Ken answered the phone. I could hear them. I was in shot. I'm really close. I could hear them talking. He said, hey, told him that I was there. And then all of a sudden, he told him, hold on. He got in the truck. He pulled forward. And then he finished his conversation with Ken, pulled back to the gate where he at right now, and then told me that he was coming. And I thought that was very strange. Nevertheless, that's exactly what happened. He took off. It took them a good while to come back. I saw a truck coming up the road, the dust road. You can see the dust flying in the air, and it was Ken. When the truck pulled up, it was a utility truck, a white utility truck, and this is the utility truck, guys, you see there. And the reason why that side compartment is open is because when Ken got out that vehicle, he looked like he was on the defense. So the first thing he did is open that side panel, and he just stood there with his hand in there inside that box. Like as he's going to get a weapon out of there, or he's getting a hammer or a tool. I don't know what he's doing. But I was watching his hands, because that was what I was trained to do in the military, watching his hands to see what he's doing. And his postures is really on the defensive. After a while, I was telling him, hey, talking to him from that distance, telling him, hey, what I was there for, just wanted to hear what happened, what he heard or what he seen from Daniel. And of course, he started telling me the story, like I said, verbatim. I mean, exactly the way that he told the law enforcement agency, the Officer Cruz. I mean, exact wording, almost like it was written down or something. And I was like, okay, well, good. But as he was talking, of course, I'm taking notes. And then after a little while, he started saying things about how only if I knew your son's mannerism, I would have known something was wrong or something out of other. And then he started, I was like, man, no, man, I play this thing I do. I've been taught, but just say, befriend a person and way, and that sometimes they do talk, and he did. He started talking more. He started telling me some extra stuff that he didn't tell the law enforcement by staying left to the tracks, and that he knew law enforcement would come. This thing was going to go national. To the way his travel, the way he traveled to go search for Daniel, and opening up gates and open up this gate and going out a mile and kept going on top of the hill and spraying rocks with red paint, so law enforcement know where to come, things like that. So those type deals, So he gave me all this information, and I was writing it down. You guys, those are contemporary, notes I've been put in early. So you guys will see the pen in my pad in my hand. I was writing it down. I called the Buckeye Police Department right after Detective Biffin and told him exactly what this guy was telling me. And to this date, you guys don't hear anything about it, because, like I said, again, the Buckeye Police Department is very selective of what goes in their report. They're very selective of what they want to investigate as well. If there's anything that would suggest anything of foul play, they stay away from it, in my opinion. But so that's the case right here, you guys. That's how that happened. But anyway, grassroots search for Daniel, July the 3rd, 2021. I really thank everybody who joined in. All the hard work you guys have been putting out there in the summer. Out there in 118-degree weather. The searches was only supposed to be like the 10 or 11 o'clock that morning, from early in the morning, 5 and 6 o'clock in the morning. You guys been coming out to 10 or 11 supposedly, but we stayed out there all day till 4 o'clock in the evening, sometimes 5, out there in that 118-degree weather, trying to rescue Dane. So I really thank you guys for coming out to that grassroots search for Daniel. I've been very grateful. I'm still grateful for you guys, your efforts and helping out there in the searches and praying with me and just you name it. You guys have been helping me. Even those when we found those human remains, you guys still been sticking in there with us because I know that's hard seeing other people's remains out there on the ground and recovering those things. So thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Small details. I met Ken Elliott to hear his account. You guys already know that. On 6:30, the Buckeye Police Department brought. Let me back up. This on the 30th, Buckeye PD brought me and my daughter and I, to the interrogation room. You guys, like I told you before, I've never been in interrogation room, but the Buckeye Police Department been the first one to put me and my daughter in interrogation room and brought us in through the back door at that, you guys, to ask us questions about Daniel. One of the things they've been hitting hard on is his mental state, right? And so they had us sitting there for a while coming up with anything we could think of that was strange. So of course, we're looking for things strange at this point. So we started naming some things we can, whatever we could come up with. But the thing is, you guys, that's why you heard some of the things, for instance, my daughter saying he was staring off a week before he went miss staring off into at her apartment or something out of it. So we started putting things together and it kind of feel like maybe he was showing some signs of some type of deal, but he wasn't. Of course, you guys, he wasn't. But those are things we're trying to pull together in that interrogation room. Of course, at the same time, you guys was able to give them information about Daniel's bank statement as well as his phone records. Bank information, I was able to get the transaction you guys heard about at the Shell station, and my daughter was able to get some other information from the cell phone records. Also, let's see here, and on the July the 6th, 2021, the Buckeye Police Department performed a welfare check to Dane's apartment. We was out there, of course, talking to the Buckeye Police Department. I was there with them before they went out to Dane's apartment, talking to the landlords. The landlords didn't agree to that point. Would not let the family in for whatever reason. They talking about legal issues. They wouldn't even let the Buckeye Police Department in because they was calling a legal issue. They need to have a warrant or whatever case may be. But what ended up happening, the landlords finally agreed that they would allow the Buckeye Police Department in with stipulations, but they would not let the family in. They would not let me and my family in. But they told the Buckeye Police Department officers, I was there on phone call with them, that they can come, but landlords would have to be present with them and walk in there with them. They can't touch anything, but they can take pictures, and that's exactly eventually what the Buckeye Police Department had done. All right, and also on July the 8th, that's when the NamUs file had been created. The case had been created from the NamUs, according to the NamUs website. Also, July the 9th, the Buckeye Police Department did a second search with the Civil Air Patrol. That was almost 2 weeks after Daniel went missing, you guys. They did the Civil Air Patrol search that covered the area where the vehicle would eventually be found. And it's also where they claiming the Buckeye Police, where that Phoenix Firebird helicopter search they said they did. They covered the area where the vehicle would finally be found, and they came up with nothing. Empty-handed, didn't find anything in any of those searches. Also, on July the 12th, 2021, the Buckeye Police Department put out information about Daniel to the public. Really late. July 19th, Daniel's Jeep Renegade was found in the desert by a rancher. And you guys know, and I'm putting this picture right here. You guys know about that. So you guys look on the bottom corner, the right corner there, you can see Daniel's vehicle sitting in that ravine. Now, you heard the Buckeye Police Department time and time again would go out in the public when you ask them why they claiming they did all these super searches they have done and have not found. If the Daniel's vehicle's out there for 30 days, why haven't you found it? And they want you to do magic tricks, you guys. Try to do Jedi mind tricks for you guys and say, oh, it's because the terrain was so lush and we could have missed it. We just missed it. So you miss it all the times you claim that you was out there. Like I told you guys, the way that the law enforcement approaching Daniel's case, looking for him, it's only a technicality. They can actually put it in their report that they went to go look, but they didn't really look. You guys, it's almost like that same analogy I keep using over and over again. I'm going to say it again. You guys probably hear it over and over again. Somebody say, Mr. Robinson, can you please go in this cabinet in the kitchen and open that cabinet up and get me a jar of grape jelly that's sitting in this cabinet? I said, sure, I can go search for this jelly for you. I can go get it. And I go in that cabinet, I open it up, and I see a whole bunch of cans and all kind of stuff in this cabinet. and I look around, I don't see it. I just didn't move, didn't touch nothing. Just open, and I was looking around with my eyes, and I shut it back and go back to the person, say, I couldn't find it. It's not there, right? But the person say, yeah, have you looked around? The person go up there and they move things around and they go find it, right? And that's the way the law enforcement been handling it. They just look, and so they can put it on the report that we was out there on this day. They make the department look good, make them look good, but they haven't even looked, because you guys, if you really think about it, from day one my son went missing, the law enforcement haven't found a construction cone out there. I'm telling you guys, nothing. The same area you see with this vehicle searching right here on this left on the right corner. We not too far from that. Like I said, less than a city block, if you want to put it in block term, block and a half, was where the human skull that we found. Also, human remains are found in this area, and they claim they had these cadaver dolls and things. Now, you see the scene of the vehicle. I'm gonna go through the pictures here, you guys. Do y'all see a bunch of law enforcement vehicles hovering around? This is the drone footage, you guys. I wish I can zoom in on the screen with you guys, but if you can zoom in, you can actually see the ground and things like that. But this is the same. If you guys look right here, this is the same. This little vehicle right here. Every time you call the Buckeye Police Department, I called them out to my searches before, asking them for resources. They come out empty. They came out twice, empty-handed. When I invite them out to my search, they came out empty-handed. It seemed like 3 officers out there empty-handed. Each time, these guys are getting this little razor they got, and they just ride around, don't do anything, right? The problem is with that as well. This goes along with the rancher story. The rancher told me that the same razor that they brought that day, when he reported this, he found the vehicle reported. He said they brought the same razor. They always come with the black trailer. I don't know what it looked like. It's a black trailer they carry in, and they came out with that razor, and the tires are flat. The rancher said he had to change the tire for him, fix the tire. He said it's just them. It's just the Buckeye Police Department. There was no helicopter search. They used drones. This is story now, you guys. This is before I got all these pictures from the Buckeye Police Department. He said, hey, look, did an interview with the rancher. He said, hey, look, there was no helicopter searches out there. It was only a drone. They had drones. And I'd be damned, you guys. When I finally got all the stuff that the chief of police, Chief Hall, told me, he said, this is all the pictures we got, everything. And he gave it to me on a flash drive. With some other things, the full report, the final report that they had of Daniel's case, as well as the partial report they gave me at the meeting. It was labeled. It's still labeled. I still have that flash drive from them. It's labeled drone, right? There's no helicopter pictures, no nothing. This is drone. And so the only thing they did out there in that day, looking for Dan, when that vehicle showed up, they did drone footage. I have on recording. Detective Biffin, he's saying definitely, hey, look, he telling me the reasons why. He telling me the reasons why they decided they ain't gonna do any forensics on the scene, right? He said he ain't seen nothing that warrants. He looking at the scene right here. He ain't seen nothing that warrants a DNA being done at the scene. You guys, of course, this right here is a tent that they put in right here. If you guys, I got some other pictures I will show you. I'll be adding to this timeline, but they have this tent right here. One of them sitting up under the tent right here, cooling off, sitting on something. You can see all the things that's here, but they there. One of them holding, the other tent is for the drone tent. He's holding the drone remote and things like that, right? If you look at the whole bigger area right here, let's go out far from the south of the crash site. I put this in, you guys, because I want to show you how the terrain look. It's very open. You don't see any whole bunch of hitting where they say you can't find a blue vehicle. You see that blue tarp they got on there, but you can't find a blue vehicle in the brown desert, right? And you see a couple little tall brushes right here, but it's not a condensed enough where you will miss a blue vehicle's lying on the side. It's impossible, especially when they claim it is. And he said, oh yeah, we was flying so low and hanging out the window, you can touch the bottom. You know, the detective's marking me. You name it. But this is the ravine the vehicle found in. My investigator felt it was brought in this direction and pushed down this way, and that's where it ultimately went down into that ravine, right? But like I said, you can look at them on the tent. That's one sitting there. He's sitting on the little canister. I got other pictures, other views of this. He's sitting on the canister. I could zoom it in on this if I could. Have my touch screen for you guys. And the other one, he just standing there cooling off it, but he got the drone. One of them had the drone remote. And that's what they're doing. If you go farther out, you may see, and they have other pictures too. I'm gonna add to this as well. where you can see the other vehicles they have. They have probably like total, just like the rancher said, I think it was like total of four vehicles. I think it was a total. And if you go and look at the other ones that I'm going to add to this timeline, and you could count how many officers out there. You can count with your fingers, all 10 of your fingers. Count who's out there. So it wasn't no major search, you guys. That's word games. I'm saying you can read a report and there's misinformation. You in your mind, you say, "Oh man, they did swelling search looking for Daniel, and they ain't found nothing." It was no swelling, overwhelming search, you guys. So I just want to make sure you guys can see that as well. Again, this is imagine if you was up in the air looking for Daniel, supposedly. You can right here see the officer walking around here. Like I said again, that's real near where this 10 is here. You can see the officer walking around here. If you can see that from a drone footage sitting that high, you can see this vehicle sitting here in this ravine from that distance, from that height, right? Imagine a helicopter. They said they're flying slow. Imagine they did Civil Air Patrol with the airplane flying over really slow. The vehicle wasn't there, you guys. According to their own search, it wasn't there. It goes with the findings of my investigator that suggests and says by physical full evidence of the computer itself, the information from the vehicle itself, the vehicle was not there. But yet Buckeye policemen are doing everything they can to make you guys believe it was there. They hired their own investigator to rebut everything you find here that would suggest foul play. That's exactly what the investigator did. A person who have never seen this vehicle, he probably looking at the same picture I'm showing you guys right here and making a judgment call on pictures. He didn't go to the manufacturers to even find out about the discrepancies or the not discrepancy, but the mileage situation on the vehicle. He went to a dealership as some worker. He could have tapped the janitor on the shoulder, as far as I understand. But he can write in there. Yeah, I went to the dealership and a Jeep expert said this. I mean, go to the manufacturers, you guys, and I guarantee you the reason why, because the manufacturer will come back and say, "Heck no, they match perfectly because we designed this thing to do that." Because if not, it's called a recall, and they don't have any recalls on with that situation on that vehicle. But the Buckeye Police Department wants y'all to believe that. So I'm saying the thing is, and on the top of this, you guys, you got to use your common sense. There was a 46 initial cycle here, Chief Hall on CNN talking about, yeah, that's a mystery. We can't understand either. It's cranking up 46 times after the airbags deployed. So you think Daniel's lying, sitting in this vehicle after the vehicle crashed in this ravine, flipped and rolled the way they claim it, which is no roof damage. So if you guys, I can show you, and I'm gonna add this to the Q&A as well, and show your guys rollover vehicles and see the difference between Daniel's vehicle and a real rollover vehicle. The place where I house Daniel's vehicle, they have rollover vehicles for insurance purposes, and they showed me some. They say they know it, doing this for a living as well. They say that vehicle was rolled over like that because it would have crushed in the roof. For one thing, the other part is, like I said, they want you to believe that Daniel was in that vehicle with his superhuman powers, I guess, and sitting in that driver's seat, pressing the gas, the brake pedal, and cranking the vehicle up 46 times. For what reason and how could he do it? Is it physically impossible? So everything suggests a foul play, and they're refusing to accept it. And that's why I'm asking you guys. I'm doing everything I can to get Dane's case moved over. It's too much damage going on to Dane's case, and I had to get it moved out of the Buckeye Police Department ASAP. And it's my son's life, my son's integrity, his justice depend on it. Okay, you guys, again, I'm just showing you different angles. I will be sharing more pictures, like I said, because when you see the other pictures, you can understand where I'm coming from, and I can show you where they were staged. And when I show you these vehicles where they were staged, I would point out, because of my history, my understanding how Buckeye work, the vehicles they actually use when they show up somewhere, and I'm gonna point out to you guys the reason why I know they didn't do a massive search effort for Daniel. And I'm gonna show you those vehicles where this what the vehicle was used, the trailer that was used to carry this razor that they have, and I can show you the pickup trucks that I will be adding to this Q&A and you can count each officer that was out there on the scene. All right. Breaking news, of course, July 19th, the vehicle showed up in that ravine. This is the damage. Like I said, you guys, the Buckeye Police Department wants you to ignore this right here. The two impressions windshield, that the evidence that we found that somebody beat it in with something heavy, something like probably a baseball bat, could have took a boulder or something really heavy, large, which one on this side, when my investigator found, they hit at this point and kind of rolled down across the windshield. This was a impact directly into the windshield. Somebody was trying to get to whoever was in that vehicle through the windshield, right? Before all of this crash and stuff. The glass that was missing, only glass is missing in this vehicle. If it was a rollover, you guys, when you imagine all the windows would have blown out this vehicle and all kind of stuff, because the roof, the integrity of the roof is dependent on this windshield. That windshield have been smashed out of there, you guys. That's what holds the integrity of that roof up as well. The windshield is very important to the integrity of the roof of a vehicle as well. And so, another problem that the Buckeye have is you look down here, there's a little smaller corner, you probably can barely see. I can get some more pictures for you guys. I'm gonna see if I can get it better. I think I had one. Yeah, right here. This is a sunroof panel, right? Sunroof panel. This is also Daniel's boot stuck up under the front end of the vehicle. Like the rancher said, unless your son is superhero, human strength, how he get the boot, the front end of that boot stuck up under the vehicle. He must have lifted the vehicle up and stuck it under there, and also stuck the sunroof panel up under the vehicle, right? But the problem with the sunroof panel I showed you guys on this Q&A before is that I did research on the sunroof. Buckeye claimed that he kicked it. Their story was he kicked the glass out and got us with the glasses on the ground. That lets you know how unexpert they are. This vehicle don't even have a glass. The glass, if possible, which I still doubt, came from the driver's door. That's the only glass that's broken out in this vehicle. The glass on the ground had to come from that driver's door, which I still, like I said, you guys, I doubt that glass is on the ground is the glass that comes from that door. And the reason why, because when it's fresh, when I first went to that scene, I seen this glass was on the ground as if somebody set it there and crushed it up. The other part of it is not that much glass in the vehicle. Very light amount of glass in the vehicle. It's impossible to have a windshield, not that have barely any glass in there. But the other part, like I'm saying, you guys, that sunroof panel I did put on this Q&A before. I showed you guys a video where you guys could search it out yourself, a 2017 Jeep Renegade, and you can look at it. They have a key to get that sunroof panel off. You would have to use a key that's located, like some people have spare tires in the back of their trunk. It's located in the back area of that vehicle. You have to lift this panel up to get the key, and you got to unlock that panel. But they once again say he kicked it out with his superhuman strength and got out there with a head injury and all this kind of stuff. You guys, that's the inside interior of the vehicle. You see all the dirt and stuff that's there from the baggies. If you guys look, it's a whole bunch of baggies. It's supposed to be samples from the wells and stuff like these baggies with a bunch of dirt and all kind of stuff in it, rocks and dirt. So that's where you probably see all this dirt and stuff from. But the thing is also, you guys, like I said, again, this vehicle is right here sitting on the side. That's why it's located this way. But they want you to believe that he was in his seatbelt, I guess, but the seatbelt locked like this somehow, and that he was sitting there cranking the vehicle while it's sitting here on the side. This part is on the ground, y'all. This is a passenger side lying on the ground, and they want you to believe he was in his vehicle, sitting up there, pressing the brake pedal and trying to crank up the vehicle with the airbags in the way, and he just sitting there trying to crank it up somehow, right? Crazy stuff. All right, this is also you guys graduate search again. Me searching that well. Small details as well. I'm trying to rush through this thing, you guys, because I'm coming up to the hour mark. July the 20th, the Buckeye Police Department told me that the vehicle was found. They waited almost over 24 hours. Not almost. They went over 24 hours, you guys, to tell me that my son's vehicle was found in that ravine. Whatever they're doing that whole entire day, you guys see the pictures. They told the rancher as soon as they came out on the scene, finally showed up, that whatever you do, don't you alert the news media and don't alert the family, right? Which, if they was going to make it a crime scene, I could see that. They didn't make no crime scene out there. You didn't see no crime scene tape. You didn't see no forensics being taken. He told me they didn't look at it as it. Look at it. They gave me everything as safekeeping. So they wasn't even interested in looking at Daniel's case as some type of crime scene or anything. They looked at me as like, hey, here's his thing for safekeeping. Nice to meet you, Miss Robinson. Go back to South Carolina or whatever the case may be. They told my investigator they wasn't investigating. They went on social media. They took that off, but I got copies of it as well. They said there was no more leads to follow, which they were. They was done with Daniel's case. Gave me the full report, unredacted, as well as they before that gave me a partial report. They was done with Daniel case until this thing went national, and then they pick it up and say, we all been investigating. We're investigating, blah, blah. Investigating what? When you gave me everything, what are you investigating? You got a bogus they got a bogus PI report. Man, they ain't never seen my son's vehicle, ever touched it at all, physical touch, seen it at all, nothing. Bogus report. I mean, what you investigating? Pictures or something? I've been trying to figure out what they're doing. They have nothing. They called me the other day asking me for something. I'm like, oh yeah, we need something to match up. And you had evidence there. You gave it to me. Everything broke the chain of custody, gave me things, and all of a sudden try to act like you investigating. Investigating what? If it's a missing person case, what are you investigating when you don't want to make it a crime a situation, criminal situation? So you guys, they just all over the place. The Buckeye Police Department is all over the place. I don't trust anything they're doing from this point. I need some professionals into my son's case. All right. Also, I had a meeting with the chief of police, Chief Hall, on the 22nd. That's when I learned more Nicolettes. You guys, they say we didn't see what the eyes said. Because I asked them, I'm like, look, how you guys know there's no blood in the vehicle? Well, we didn't see any blood in the vehicle. With the eyes, they didn't see it. And I asked them, hey, do y'all use some kind of chemicals? I'm going by something I see on TV. Luminol, whatever call the stuff, some whatever light or something you can find, somebody wipe up blood or something. They haven't done none of that, right? I found out all kind of things in that meeting, you guys, they haven't done. And so I demanded, when y'all hear them, like I say again, y'all can read in the report, oh, the Buckeye Police Department, they did some forensic stuff on the vehicle. Under my request, they ain't gonna put it in a report that way. Mr. Robinson at this meeting on the 22nd demanded that we do some fingerprinting. That's what I asked for. I didn't know what to ask for. I just asked for fingerprinting. But they said they did the swabbing of the steering wheel and this and the shifter. You need to go farther than that. You need to get the forensics done of the airbags, the red transfer paint that we found. Everything you guys know about my son's vehicle, we found these things. Buckeye haven't found anything. They don't know nothing about no red transfer paint. They didn't know nothing about the 11 additional miles on the vehicle. They didn't know nothing. Everything that you guys know of, it came from myself and my investigator, period. Not the Buckeye Police Department. So they're taking credit for a lot of things that we have done. They even tried to take credit for, it's amazing to me, you guys. The Buckeye Police Department was confirming the human remains that we found out there in the desert. It was up to 7 human remains. But then as it got into the media, because they also in the past falsified crime statistics, they also started bringing it down to trying to say, oh, it's only 2. But they the ones been confirming it. I have people in my searches, what they do is they take pictures of it. I tell them don't touch nothing. They take pictures of it. They get the coordinates and they send it up to my policehelpfinddaniel.com website through a link that I have. And that link automatically send a copy to the Buckeye Police Department, to my investigator, and to myself. They the one come call us back and confirming that they are human remains. It wasn't us. We weren't the expert that's supposed to go out and find. They were saying that until what ended up happening. One of the volunteers alerted me that Buckeye was taking claim, saying they found these human remains out there. I was offended for the volunteers' sake, not for my sake, but the volunteers' sake, out there working hard to locate Daniel and end up running to these human remains, right? So I called the Maricopa County medical examiner's office and told them, hey, that's falsifying reports. I have an email. They apologized to me and corrected the error. They said, well, we're going to make sure it's reflected that these remains were found at the searches, at my searches, right? Not the Buckeye Police Department. But like I was saying, there's a whole thing of them trying to narrow that crime scene. And that was the basis of my letter that I sent to Chief Hall in the past, asking for the FBI to come into that area and search for my son and everything else that goes along in the area, because it's a big, giant crime scene. When you start finding human remains out there, start finding the evidence of clothing that we found, you start finding cell phones that belong to people, you start finding burnt cars, all kind of stuff. That's a crime scene. It's a crime scene to look at it, and I'm telling you guys, they're more concerned about building a big smart city and bringing a bunch of money to the Buckeye city than they are to recover people's remains and bring closures to these families, like we were out there for 48 weeks searching for Daniel and covering over 35,000 acres of land. Okay, you guys, again, after that meeting, the Buckeye Police Department, Chief Hall gave me a partial report that day. He promised me the pictures that you just seen. He promised me a full report, because once the detective finishes writing the report, they'll be done with it, and he's going to give me a copy. They're going to put everything they gave me. They said they're going to put it on a big flash drive and give it to me, which they did. I have it to this day. That's why I'm telling you guys, they got it all labeled on the flash drive, and they gave me everything that was done with Daniel's case. Told my investigator, not investigating. Here's the black box data that they didn't even read, and that's what my investigator. He didn't go pull it on the black box data off that vehicle. They gave him the paperwork that came off that vehicle, and they just don't know how to read it, and my investigator read it for them. and found 11 additional miles, and you name it. That's where all that come from. All right. Also, after that, you guys, that search right after the 22nd, it was right that Saturday after the 22nd of that meeting I had at the Buckeye Police Department. That search, the strangest thing happened. I had many searches before that, but that was the strangest one because right after that meeting, Chief Hall showed up at that search. The vehicle magically showed up in the desert. He came out there talking about he was there and all the stuff and point me into the wrong ravine. And then he was grandstand. I mean, he just laid there, but skipped me over me and my daughter, very disrespectful, but talking to the crowd like he's Moses and saying, hey, you guys want to know this vehicle is? They never showed me and my family. It's very disrespectful. Didn't ever show us where this crime scene was located, but yelling out to the volunteers in my searches if they wanted to go out and see this crime scene where the vehicle was found. He wanted us to know where this crime scene at for whatever reason. Took us out there. We followed him, like I said, Moses, going across the looking for the promised land or something. And he went up there and we went across. I mean, it was real close. It was real close. Went over this hill and I'd be damned. He took us on that area. And the ranger showed up. The rancher showed up. I can get the words correct. Rancher, he showed up also and corrected Chief Hall. Chief Hall got red in the face and left and never ever been seen again. But he was out there. Chief Hall was out there. I'm telling you guys, grandstanding, talking about the cartels. He gave me the impression the cartels did something to my son and put his vehicle down in that ravine. Did something to him in that ravine or something out of the way he put it. So I'm saying, you guys, that was the strangest thing that ever happened. But Chief Hall have never, to this day, ever came to any of the searches after that. He just wanted to make sure he came the way I took it later. Make sure I know the vehicle's right here. Make sure that happened, and he just took off, never come again. All right, sell a story. That's what I'm looking at for whatever reason. And the vehicle wasn't there for 30 days. We already know that. But he wanted to be there for a reason. The other party is 7/29, July the 29th. The searchers found human skull. And again, you guys, the area that I showed you guys before, I'm saying if I can go back, I wish I can go back on it real quick. But that area I showed you guys where the vehicle showed up in that big desert area, the human skull was literally short walking distance. Like I say, a block and a half, you guys, who put in the block turn from where that vehicle crime scene was at, with that vehicle sitting in that ravine. And you trying to tell me if you was using all these so-called cadaver dolls and so on, you would have found that. Speaking of that, guys, I want to show you something real quick. I'm going to X this out real quick. And I want to show you this. This is a K9 search information. I want to show you guys this too. And the reason why you guys need to see this, because this is one of them. I had two. I wanted to put the other one on this as well tonight, but I was unable to get it to upload the way I really need to add it. So I will add it on the next Q&A so you guys can read it a lot easier and a lot better. But on here, you can see it right here, the K9 search that was on August 21st of 2021. This is my K9s, right? Buckeye Police Department said they used the Maricopa County. They claimed they had all these K9s. I'm thinking like 7 or 8 of them or something, right? These dogs. We had 2, right? 2 and 2, right? K9s. But anyway, a group of 2. You know, 2 groups of K9s. I meant to put it how I want to put it. This is from my search. This is the K9s that we brought into my search. And it had nothing to do with law enforcement, right? These are certified K9 dogs. But the Bonnie is one of them. And you can see the dog handlers and things like that. And also you can see the names of the K9s themselves. But I'm going to read the temperature that day was between 85 and 97 degrees Fahrenheit, humidity 58%, 32%, light wind, 0 to 6 miles per hour. They need a little wind for K9. But anyway, we started to search at approximately 7 o'clock south of where the vehicle was recovered. I call it a crime scene, you guys. This is where south now. This is claiming now. This is where pretty much where the skull we found as well. This is after we found the skull and all that stuff. But Buckeye claimed they did a search very well with the Maricopa County and all the stuff, right? They claim it, right? With their dogs. All right. Our plan is right south of, remember what he's saying, south of where the vehicle crime scene is, right? South of it. Our plan was to work west to the butt of with exposure with the exposed rock on it, and that's what we call this is Pride Rock. This area that we was looking at, because that's where they claiming this mountain lion lives, where he does live in that area. But this is where the mountain lion lives, so that's what they mean by the bottom of that mountain area. Located approximately 1 mile west, we walked from the recovery site to the south. end of the bottom base. I'm going to say the bottom of that mountain. No alerts from the K9. At the Hacienda Wash, we spoke with a local rancher. You guys know the rancher who found the vehicle. Stated that that mountain area, that's where you see that Butte, is the mountain area. We wanted to search where it was where a mountain lion's den was located. Right. So they say this mountain lion den was there. I remember when I first started my searches, you guys. One of the things that was told to me by the Buckeye policeman not to go to that mountain. Of course, you guys, when somebody gonna tell me not to do something and my son's missing, that's where I'm gonna go. I was very suspicious anyway of the Buckeye Police Department from that point of everything they were saying and wasn't doing correctly. So, all right. So the rancher said that the mountain lion den is located there. The rancher also stated that the wild fishing, stated that wild fishing game had a radio collar on one mountain lion in that area. He felt that there was more than one mountain lion living in that area. Based on this information, we chose not to go all the way to the base of the cliff where the mountain dens were located. We climbed approximately halfway up that mountain and terrain across that mountain. Okay, this height was above most of the gullies and that fan out from the base. We hiked all the way to the north end of the butte, and then went back down to the Hacienda Wash. At the wash, we met up with our team, and our decision was to make a return to the vehicles due to the heat. We returned to the vehicle by a different path north of the original path of the butte. On the return trip, K9 Tova alerted to a large dead tree. We worked K9 veiling through the area, and he alerted high on the tree, jumping up on his hind legs, trying to get higher. He ultimately performed his trained final response at the tree. We were unable to recover any physical evidence that Mr. Robinson was at the tree. The rest of the search back to the vehicle was unremarkable. A sniff was then conducted at the well site where Mr. Robinson was last seen. Neither K9 alerted at the well. So let me tell you something, you guys. What I'm saying is, and I want to show you guys that is because the other report from the other dogs, I told you it was 2 sets of dogs that day. But the other dogs that they reference on here on this report here, they took the dog in the same area over there, and the dog did the same thing on the same tree. And this tree is located really close to where this crime scene where my son's vehicle was found. Really close, right? And I know what this location is. You guys on the next report, you'll see that I blocked out the coordinates for you guys because, of course, it's still under my part of my investigation. But I will have that up on the next Q&A for you guys. But like I said, the information was still there for you, and I will show it to you, like I said, on the next Q&A. But the thing is, I'm saying that it was really close, you guys, where this vehicle was found, this crime scene, real close to it, right? But somehow the Buckeye Police Department, and I hate to keep trying to add Maricopa County to it because they added themselves to this travesty. They doing it themselves. They haven't found anything. Like I told you guys from day one, law enforcement haven't found a construction cone magically, not finding nothing. But anything I'm doing, we finding all kind of things, right? I even have a tree that I'm going to show you guys with bullet holes in it, and I'm going to show you this tree with bullet holes in it. And I want you guys to ask yourself, why haven't law enforcement even investigated this stuff? And we try. I don't have any forensics type material or ways I can do forensics on a tree that with bullet holes and see somebody was shot at the tree, on this tree or whatever the case may be. That's law enforcement should have those things, right? So that's what I'm saying, you guys. And they so-called say they did search. They did extensive search for Daniel. They have not. And I'm going to show you more of the pictures, you guys, and show you how many people is out there on the scene and all that kind of stuff. And you can see the little efforts that was out there for Daniel. Search for Daniel. Oh, it was out there, but it was a little efforts. It wasn't efforts that you guys may be led to believe. All right. Also, on the 30th, of course, I'm gonna skip all the stuff for here, you guys. So I want to get to your questions, some other things I want to talk about real quick before my time run out. But did a special targeted canine search. That's what that was, you guys. Also, I had a family press conference. You can see Daniel's mother, as well as his big brother and myself and some other people. His sisters was there. His twin sister was there as well. You see the information there. Also, you see right here, this area here. I'm gonna skip over some things, you guys, and we get on the next Q&A. But it talks about the sightings, you guys. And again, I want to thank you guys for allowing me to be able to travel and things like that to check on these tips and things like that. So thank you guys for your donations and things like that, for everything you do. Keep my boots on the ground in Arizona, etc. I intervened and the rancher who found Daniel's Jeep. I interviewed the rancher on the 16th. That's what I want to say. I'm trying to rush too fast. But on the 16th, guys, of September, I was able to interview the rancher, and he the one gave me all the information I'm telling you guys about now. He was able to give me those information about how many officers was there, how many dogs was there. There was no helicopter searches. That was just a drone. But everything he said matches what they gave me. I haven't seen the evidence yet of a helicopter search, for instance. So that is words that they put in the report. And I think what's going to happen is these officers, they'll be careful. These law enforcement agencies going to get caught up on things they wrote. And that's called falsifying documents. And they better hope they do have those things. All right. So I did a family press conference and hired my own PI. And of course, you guys, the Buckeye Police Department, they hired their PI on the 28th. Who didn't even see, like I told you guys, haven't even seen Dan's vehicle, but he wanted to make a full report on something he have never even seen or touched. Also, former search coordinator brought the second person who said he's seen Daniel. So much, you guys. I'm just gonna skip over these things for the night. But thank you guys again for allowing me to have the funds and things to put those billboards up on the east side to the west side of Phoenix, on those highways, I-10 and I-17. I really appreciate it, you guys, for that. Also, this is more details I'll be talking about on next week, and also the efforts to help other families. But one thing I want to tell you guys again, to add to the screen here, when there's no justice, there will be no peace, and we're going to have to find justice for Daniel. I'm going to demanding these actions for my son. I'm demanding that the Buckeye Police Department turn over my son's case over to the Maricopa County. Actually, I want it to go turn over to the FBI, because this is going too far. There's a lot of things there, foul play, and this thing need to be handled in the best way. And I'm be honest with you guys, it's costing me a lot of money every month. Costing me a lot of money to house all this forensics that the law enforcement should have had in evidence locker. It's costing me money, and it's really hard for me to try to keep those things going. I'm telling you guys, my son's the DNA and all the stuff that could be tested is in jeopardy of being lost, because the law enforcement is dragging their foot on it. They don't show no empathy, don't care, whatever case what it may be, and that's causing my son case to be hampered. And so I'm fighting for all kind of things right now, you guys, to make sure that my son get the justice he deserves. When there's no justice again, there's no peace. We demand action, and the extended family, which is you guys, demand action, and we demand action. And so also, you guys, no justice, no peace means that there can be no peace without justice. My son Daniel has been missing for nearly 2 years. It's time that we get justice in Daniel's case. My experience, I'm going back over this, guys. You've seen this before. My experience of searching for my son. I have put in my investigator's hat, my search hat, and I have been an advocate for not only just my son, but also for other families. I feel that law enforcement has failed Daniel and my family and me, and they have. I really need justice in Daniel's case. The effects of injustice create anger, frustration, and a sense of powerlessness. It can lead to social unrest and protest, which we are doing, you guys, and they're going to go into what I want to talk about, the protest. We're doing a mail-in protest first, and along with the mail-in protest, there'll be some other kind of efforts of protesting, which I call a protest holiday. That's going to be working for 7 days in multiple places. So you guys are going to be doing that. Because law enforcement was slow to act initially, Daniel remains missing. That's the reason why Daniel remained missing. It's not because nothing can be done. It's because law enforcement dragged their feet. Is the misconception outside of policy that was broken, telling me I had to wait 12 hours, which there was no such thing as a policy of that. I could have reported Daniel missing immediately. That delayed time. There was no search done on that day when Daniel went missing. There's no helicopter, nothing went out in the desert that night to look for Daniel. That was delayed time. The next day, promised a helicopter search. There was no helicopter search in the desert out there. Delayed time. The next day after that, and then on 3 days after that, that's when 3 days after Daniel went missing is when they did it. That was delayed time, right? Also, the cell phone pings. No cell phone pings. Delayed time. No pictures of him ever driving anywhere in Arizona. Delayed time. No information from the Uconnect that was on his vehicle that have location, GPS location to help. Delayed time. No law enforcement going to get bank statements of their own and phone records to try to determine what happened to my son. Delayed time. So it's a lot, you guys, because of the way the actions of law enforcement, Buckeye Police Department is what the reason why my son is still missing to this date. Because law enforcement was slow to act initially, Daniel remains missing. Because law enforcement refuses to take physical evidence for foul play that myself and my investigator gave to them, suggesting and proven foul play. They rejected it. They rejected it, you guys. They refused to take the physical evidence of foul plays I gave them. And Daniel's his justice has been hampered because of that. To this date, dragging the feet, find all kind of ways to make themselves look good instead of doing the right thing and make this a criminal case that it is, and do all the resources that it is to help find my son. And one of the biggest part that the Buckeye Police Department can do, the only thing the Buckeye Police Department can do for my son at this time is release my son's case and stop holding it hostage for their own ego's sake, right? Also, I have a solution for this problem, you guys. I'm demanding that the Buckeye Police Department release my son's case to an outside agency that will bring results. They have not even found a construction cone out there, you guys. They have brought me no closer to finding answers about my son. I have. Everything that I have been doing since day one have brought me closer to finding answers about my son, but I am not law enforcement. They can go a lot farther than I can. Since my son went missing, the Buckeye Police Department has not found anything that brings us closer to answers. They do not have the available they do not have available cell phone pings or traffic camera footage, nor do they have the location that the Uconnect would provide in Daniel's Jeep, right? Everything that can be that can help find my son. It seems that conveniently the Buckeye Police Department found ways not to be able to do it, right? They found ways to block it. We found evidence to show foul play. They blocked it. We said, hey, you got a Uconnect in the vehicle. They blocked it. They claiming that I really want to see. I want to see that stuff too. They saying that all zero grids. It came all zero. Cell phone pings. They claiming all the stuff they telling y'all in the report. I want to see these cell phone pings and when they got them, right? If they got them, which they haven't. You guys, according to what they told us, they told me in that interrogation room they would not be able to do it because they said, no judge, if we apply, no judge will give us a warrant because it's not a criminal case, right? That was their excuse at the time. So they'll make excuses and find ways to rebut anything. We found all the evidence of foul play. They hired their own investigator to rebut those findings. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying, you guys, I'm not going to have that. We're going to make sure this case get moved out of their apartment. Instead of them searching for Daniel and bringing a real investigation to my son's case at the time, they said they went on social media and said we have no more leads to follow, and told my investigation not investigating, and they gave me a partial report, and the full report said they're done, right? So again, the way I take the Buckeye Police, they was on the campaign keep my son case, missing person case, and move on. No, there's too much evidence, information out there as well, and the fact that my son case can go into Maricopa County, where he went missing, into Maricopa County, and Sheriff Penzone, elected official, need to step the game up. He have a jurisdictional responsibility. Everything that can help find Daniel seems to be conveniently blocked by the Buckeye Police Department. Now they are blocking other agencies that may be a help. You guys know I put in requests for this big crime scene that my son was found in. We found human remains out there. They block them down, trying to, for your sake, block them down to 2 remains and all this crazy stuff. But the fact is, There are human remains found out there. There are crime evidence out there. And my son went missing in this crime scene. I wrote a striking letter to the Buckeye Police Department Chief Hall describing just that, you guys, and they blocked that. Asking them to bring the FBI in the case because of this crime scene that my son was missing in. Chief Hall had no choice because I CC'd a lot of big officials in this letter I sent to him, and he had no choice to say, yeah, I agree. But after he accused me of holding back evidence, he agreed to get the FBI into Daniel's case to look into a case review. Same day he responded, my attorney, she wrote a response back and requested that I be a part of that case briefing. She be a part as well if they don't want her there as being an attorney. But Mr. Robinson need to be a part of this case briefing. He did not respond, you guys. Chief Hall did not respond because he did it underhandedly. Talked with, I don't know what him and his buddies or whatever at the FBI. He did it underhandedly, made sure I wasn't there to hear what was going on. But then reported back to me that they had it behind my back, this case briefing. Again, blocking any agencies to help, because whatever they said to the FBI, they said the FBI said, you, Mr. Roberts, doing such a great job on your own, we'll need to come in, right? Whatever they said to him blocked the FBI from being in my son's case, right? So what I'm saying, again, they're blocking. Some people call it cover up, in my opinion. So people have opinions of that. So we will fight to change the outcome. What can we do? We will peacefully protest in two forms. I created a mail-in protest to get targeted departments' attention and action. And those targeted departments include the Buckeye Police Department, the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office, and some others, right? And we get to action. Next, we will protest at their departments. And like I said, it's gonna be this thing I'm trying to put together, you guys. It's gonna be very unique. We're gonna do a protest holiday. We'll hit them all together, right? All at once. And try to get other families as well that have gotten a lot of misjustice in their cases as well by these departments. I need you to join us and invite families and friends. This is a grassroots effort, as it always has been. You guys coming out to the searches. It's always been a grassroots effort. I have not done this on my own. It's been you guys. You guys are like family, and I really appreciate each and every last one of you that show so much love and compassion and taking your time just to even hear what I have to say. This is a grassroots effort. There's power in the people. My uncle told me that when I first came out to Arizona. I didn't know anybody. You guys sitting in a hotel room, didn't know anybody, didn't know how much it's gonna cost, whatever the case may be. I just needed to find my son, right? And he told me this one thing on the phone call. He said, "You know what, David? If some reason it's like he foresaw it. He foresaw you guys helping. He said, as long as you got the people, you're gonna have power." And I'm telling you something, you guys, and you have been showing just that since day one. And you guys have been sticking in there, helping Daniel's story stay alive and well, meaning that you're not allowing that Daniel case become a cold case, because it's not. It's far from that. And it would, like I said, it would not be possible for us to be this far with, and I say us because we are a grassroots, and I really appreciate you guys for being a part of this. Thank you for allowing me to share my efforts to get justice for my son Daniel with you, and I will continue to work towards a solution that would create resources and action. So you guys, that me as a father, any father. I'm not doing anything special. I don't deserve any reward either. This is what fathers have. This is what parents have to do. Period. We have to do for our children. We have to fight, and we brought them in this world. God bless us with children, and we got to make sure we do everything we can for our loved ones, our children, and definitely that's our children. Get our children taken care of. So definitely, you guys, I really appreciate it. I want to show you one more thing real quick before I go, and before I go into the comment section. And that's the website. You guys, you can go to the website, pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, and you come in here and you stroll down on the front page and you see right here, Justice for Daniel. You see the please download the PDF for your mail-in protest. So you guys, like I said, I really need you guys to do that if you can. Get your schools, your whatever, get anybody, just print out, try to get all these things print out. And I really appreciate you guys who have already been doing this already, downloading it. And I'm asking you guys to hold off or sending them. That's the point I'm trying to make, you guys. And I might need to put this in the description as well. hold off until sending them, and the date, the mail-in window is April the 10th through the 13th. We need to make sure that we're sending them together. No matter where you're at, we need to send them together, because if we send them like randomly, that's not doing anything. You might get some information back from them, you may not, but it's not overwhelming them. It's a protest. It's a protest, meaning you're getting their attention. They see, they open their mailbox or however they get it, the man go dumping bags and bags of mail at the law enforcement agency. You don't think that would get their attention, right? What the heck going on? Where all this mail coming from at one time? Thousands of mail coming in. That's what we're trying to do, you guys. And so this is a call a mail-in protest, and we're going to do that to get their attention, as well as get answers, and to the main thing is to get my son's case moved. So what you do is you hit that PDF button there, and it will take you to these letters. Of course, these letters. This one right here is to the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office. It is a FOIA request, whether it's in the proper form or not. You guys, the whole goal is, like I say again, to get those letters out to these agencies, whether how they respond or whatever the case may be. They're gonna have to do something, because you're gonna get thousands of them. They're gonna get thousands of these. Maricopa County would get those. They would get them. You come down here, same as that letter that was going to the Buckeye Police Department for their records division as well, and also for the record division of Tempe Police Department as well, right? But this one here is the main one that I want. It was all on the main one, but this is one that's very crucial, you guys. This one is straight to Chief Hall, Larry Hall. If you get even more, if you could double it to Chief Hall, this is the letter right here demanding and asking about this changeover of jurisdiction to the Maricopa County or the FBI. Because I'm telling you something, you guys, Maricopa County has a jurisdictional responsibility to my son. My son was missing in this county. Sheriff Penzone. He's an elected official. And I told you guys, I'm not going anywhere. I know election time's coming up, and I will be there. I will be there. I'm telling you guys, it's not no kind of threat or anything like that. I will be there to voice my thoughts about anything. No, nobody's not going to be moving and doing this without put some justice in my son's case. I'm holding, you guys, I'm holding physical evidence. I'm holding DNA evidence that I shouldn't be holding. In facility, trying to keep some type of integrity of my son's things, so it don't get destroyed, so my son can have a fighting chance of some justice. But law enforcement is dragging their feet. I should not have had these things in the first place. They have storage facilities for that. They could process it the correct way and thoroughly, and put the stuff up in case something happens. Because if I lose these items, you guys, I'm fighting for that. If I lose these items, that's putting my son's stuff in jeopardy, and I really need this thing to move faster. So I'm saying this is very important, you guys, to get these agencies to do the right things quickly. Running out of time is slow. I don't know how long DNA lasts on items. I don't know. I'm not a DNA expert, but I just know it's urgent calls, it's an urgent thing, and that's what this stuff come from, you guys. And you guys can print that out, and the addresses, like I say, on each one of these are at the top that you need to send it to. Only thing you have to do is sign it down the bottom, and that type of deal. So thank you, guys. I really appreciate it again for joining in on this Q&A. I will go to the comment section. You guys have any questions, please hit the like, share, subscribe button also. But if you guys have any questions, please, by all means, start it off with a capital letter Q, the word questions or question marks, and I'll see it as I come down. Again, I thank you so much, again, Anissa, for the super chat. God bless you for that. You always been a blessing, and you always continue to be so supporting this YouTube channel. I really appreciate that. God bless, and supporting my efforts to find Daniel. So I really appreciate it. And thank you, everybody, for the belated happy birthday wishes. I really appreciate that. Yes. I was able to share it with family, so I'm really happy about that. So thank you so much for those birthday wishes again. And thank you for the prayer. Thank you, Lady Grace. I've seen the prayer. Thank you so much for the prayers. I really appreciate that. Me and my family, we definitely need that constantly. We need those prayers. But I am looking for the questions, you guys. You have those. Again, put the capital letter Q there, the word question mark, or the word question itself. And before your question, and I can find it as I'm coming down. I've been strolling kind of fast, but thank you so much. I see more birthday wishes. Thank you so much, you guys. But I'm just strolling down kind of fast, looking for these questions. And let's see here. I have one from Lady V. Thank you, Lady V, for your question tonight. Were you able to speak to the worker at the Waffle House? No, I have not. Also, did you ever get answers about the 1 hour accounted for the time of the Waffle House. I have not, and I haven't photo that you were questioning. And thanks so much, Lady V, for putting that up. But no, I have not talked to the person that worked at that Waffle House. I'll talk to a manager who told me that they was confused about them hearing that Buckeye claiming that they only gave them still pictures that they gave me of this footage. They said they don't give law enforcement still photos they had to go to. And I'm gonna tell you something, you guys. And I'm gonna tell you something. This is like slack police work, you guys. Let's say Buckeye Police went behind there and they rolled the video footage back and they just took only pictures of the video. That is slack work from law enforcement, you guys. Because I talked to the management there, and they told me that I can get the full video of this at their main office in Atlanta. So why do you have law enforcement reach out to Atlanta, to main branch in Atlanta, Georgia, and get this full video if they claiming they didn't have no video? Because they say they don't give nobody no pictures. They don't have no way to give them pictures of their footages at this Waffle House. So that's lazy police work. That's the I don't really care about this case type thing. Just say, hey, I did something, right? Low key, I did something in this case somebody come asking. All right. Also, did you ever get an answer about the 1 hour unaccounted? No, I have not. I've got some. I haven't got no. Definitely got nothing from the Buckeye Police Department, but I'm documenting all that stuff because there's a lot of questioning there, you guys. What she's talking about is the way when Buckeye gave me these pictures. If you look at the timestamp, the way they gave it to me to the form, to kind of try to give a story. But when you really look at the timestamp and you put those things together, you'll realize that it's a big hour or so is accounted for. And they make it appear like Daniel just came in there and sat down, had his meal, and then walked out and left. No, it was some other step. You look at the time step, it don't match. It's like he was walking out first, this right here, and did this, and sat down, and like he was meeting somebody. But something is happening in the space. I don't know about somebody was sitting at the table with him or what the case may have been, but a lot of that been missing, and I think it's on purpose. Like I said, again, from the pattern that I'm starting to see in my son's case, everything seems like it's done in some type of pattern on purpose, in my opinion. All right. Also, you guys have any more questions? Country Girl have one here. Was it Weber? Was it Weber who searched the wells for Buckeye between favorites? And I was laughing because I'm really, really thinking about that too. I'm telling you the reason why I feel that way too, and I think I believe you probably be right about that. Was it Weber who searched the wells for Buckeye Police Department between February the 9th to February the 18th? Maybe they left things behind, and maybe they have. One of the things is I wanted to resume that well myself because law failed. No matter about trying to get it out in the public, I was trying to get it on the news. The findings that thing that like a human skull at the bottom of that well, and I tried to get law enforcement to move on it. Even Maricopa County and Tempe told them about it. Nobody moved on. Law enforcement would not budge. No FBI won't come in. Nobody, like, they didn't give a crap about findings in that well. I guess law enforcement have this little pride. If we didn't find it, we ain't gonna look at it, or something. I don't know. Maybe that's how policing work. They got this prideful thing. Maybe it's the culture or something. But my son's missing. And I've been reaching out to law enforcement to have this thing looked into. They didn't move. So I was looking to go do research myself to try to figure out how I can do it myself. And maybe I can get these owners of this well allow me to do that. But in the process, I went out to look, and the only person that was ever could do something like that in Arizona, in that area of Arizona, is that company you sent right there, Weber. And I thought it was ironic. I was like, oh, heck no. Heck no. The person that works for Weber is Ken, the guy whose story I don't believe. You think I want him going back in that well, going in that well or whatever case may be? No, not at all. I tried my best to try to get law enforcement to do something, and they haven't. But lo and behold, because they keep hearing me on this Q&A and everything else, and then I'm saying they keep doing things underhandedly, right? They'll do it. Here it is. I so happen to call the Buckeye Police Department on an unrelated thing this particular day. He said, "Oh yeah, by the way, we was out there today. We went in that well." I'm like, "What?" And then they went on social media, throw all these pictures up about they went into that well, right? And they was pulling out things that look like pocket change or something. That's all we found. After all the videos that I put on this Q&A about what's really in there, they didn't speak about those. And then you see this big red crane with a grapple on it, where he was able to pull the stuff out with. And when I saw the red crane thing, I thought about the red transfer paint on my son's vehicle, and I said, "Hey, maybe that's where the red transfer paint came from Weber, right? Maybe it came from their equipment. Do a DNA testing on that red transfer paint and do a DNA testing on their equipment. Maybe the same paint, you know." So the thing is, you guys, that's what I saw. But yeah, like I said, you're right, and that's what I'm looking at. You guys, also my investigation on that too, is the fact that um, that's the only company that I was told could do something like that. The only company in that area that could pull something out like that out of the well, is what I was told. All right. Also, what is your gut instinct as to why this search was not done to any acceptable degree? Laziness, prejudice. I do think it's tied to issues about lack of available water in that area. You'll be surprised, guys, who got interest into this whole bit project. For one thing, the other part is I do know some of those things. Well, I'm doing investigations, you guys, but you'll be surprised to know that. Also, the fact that when it comes to my gut, you asking my gut instinct why they wanted to search. Like I said, don't care. It don't care, or it's a cover up. That's my gut instinct, whatever the case may be. I don't know. So the thing is, that's my feelings about that. So, you don't want to uncover something that would do something. I don't know, would show something. So, let's not let nobody know that I'm going in there. Let's do it underhanded and then say, "Oh, by the way, this is what we found." Nothing. I don't know. Also, has the Buckeye Police Department told you whether they found anything from swab they took in the Jeep? Them guys called me almost 2 years. That's over a year later. You guys, that was the end of 2022 when I heard about these swabs. They asking me now. Think about this, you guys. These guys did some type of a um, um, welfare check, like I told you, late, right? Almost a month later, did the welfare check, Dane's apartment. We couldn't even get an apartment, but Buckeye got in there before we did, right? Family, I'm talking about. And not one time when we finally got in that apartment as a family did they ask us for. They claim they did all this test, this swabbing, right? And not one time while we had Dane's apartment did they ask for anything matching. And think about this now. Think about this whole thing. They have DNA evidence on the ground. They claim it belonged to Daniel. They had the vehicle with DNA stuff on it that's supposed to be belong to Daniel's, right? They had evidence, you name it, and they gave it all to me in safekeeping and evidence badge marked for safekeeping and all that stuff, right? Then they waited almost a year, way over a year and a half later, and asked me for, "Hey, you happen to have a toothbrush or some kind of razor with the Daniel DNA on it to match this swab stuff?" So what the hell what took so long for you to come to this point? You know what I'm saying? That stuff been dismantled now. Nobody's holding up apartments unless they are paying for it. Unless law enforcement can pay for all the stuff. Like I told you guys, I'm housing this vehicle. I'm housing this forensic stuff, and I'm paying for it. I'm paying for it. Law enforcement's not paying for it. And and that's what I'm saying, you guys. And if you're doing some type of investigation, should you be paying for this stuff? You should be paying for the stuff to be housing. You should be paying for hold these evidence and evidence lockers so you can compare DNA and all that stuff. That's a failure, you guys. I'm telling you, and they're gonna constantly keep failing my son and gonna cause my son to be missing forever. And you know what? And I refuse to let them do that. And I want my son's case out of their hands, out of this department's hands. I'm telling you guys, and we're gonna have to fight for this. All right. And thank you so much for the question. You guys, I apologize that made me really uptight. But anyway, question here from Lady V. On the call log that you previously shared, there was a call at 7:56 that said you were not concerned about yet. You were not concerned about. Were you able to get more information about that call? Let me read this question again. On the call log that you previously shared, there was a call at 7:56. I had to go back and look at what you're speaking of. That you said you were not concerned about yet. I'm trying to think what call that would be around 7:56. Only thing, unless you send an incoming call because I do know it was some calls. I had to go back and look at that timeline. I can't remember off my head, but there was a phone call back and forth from Daniel's coworkers before Ken spoke in, but that was around 7:56. I don't know. It could have been one of the guys. I don't want to say their names right now, but I can add it later because I think that was on the report. I'm looking on the report, see these first names at least was on these reports. But there was a call back and forth from the Matrix workers. I'm saying, you guys, from his company, and then anything else from after that. I can't remember 7:56, so I will not be answering that question right now, Lady V, but I will look into it. If you see me come to the Q&A again, ask the same question, and I'll try to see if I make sure I have that timeline. I'll probably bring that on the Q&A as well. Added part of this timeline as well, this call records. Also, not really a question, but I wonder if they put that skull there to make you think it could be Daniel, since it's close to the vehicle. I don't think so, and because the reason why I say that, because this, I won't describe this person's family member, the tragedy that happened to this person, because you can tell what happened in this instance. For one thing, other part is that human skull was very old, and I would say personally, just looking at it, we would have known that it wasn't Daniel as soon as you see it. It was there for years, and so that's one thing for sure. Also, will the mayor of that area help you, or the Congress? The mayor went to the you guys went to the council meeting. Myself, Larnell, went to a city council meeting to meet the mayor, to meet the city manager and the whole city council. And like I told you, those are people of stone. This is my opinion, you guys. People stone with no empathy, no heart, no nothing. So the mayor of Buckeye, heartless. The city manager, Buckeye, heartless. The vice mayor, heartless. The city councilor, heartless. To this day, have yet to even acknowledge me, Mr. Robinson, out in their city looking for his son, right? So the mayor gonna give a damn. He care about that money and that project that's gonna happen out there that brings some money into Buckeye and all this kind of stuff, to the point where my son's report would have said there's not enough water out there in that area, and the governor, the old governor, hid that report, you guys, until the new governor came in and released it, found and released it. So the thing is, I'm saying, you guys, that's all they're concerned about. This money. It's not about a father and his looking for a son. You're a strong father. I really appreciate that. God be all the glory. You're right. God bless. And I really appreciate that. I have to be. For Daniel, I have to be. Also, Lady V, thanks so much for your question. Could Ken do his work until 3 p.m. without someone from Matrix being there? And that's the thing. That's the thing. I mean, that's what I'm saying. This is the reason why I love Q&A, you guys, because you guys are a lot, just a whole bunch of minds coming together. You can think of things like Shiro's Nation came before, asked me. That's what made me dismiss this, helped me dismiss even farther this guy that said, second person that said he's seen Daniel. He's more of a suspect than anything. Well, say he's seen Daniel as well, right? Say he's a federal law enforcement agent. I mean, she asked a simple question like, well, how could Daniel give him directions to where to shoot and he never been in this area before, ever in his life? Made a whole lot of sense. But Buckeye got to say they validated the story and all this crap, right? What they told me. And so, again, your question right here, Lady V, I really appreciate it. Could Ken do his work until 3 p.m. without someone from Matrix being there? And that makes a lot of sense. And I would say no, because that's the whole purpose. He's a drilling man. All thing he's doing is to drill and make sure the water's flowing. But what other job he gonna be doing? That make a whole lot of sense. I'm gonna have to look into that, Lady V, because what other job he would be doing without a Matrix person there doing their job? Because his job is worthless, basically, without the scientists there to check the water volume coming out of there and to make sure it's flowing and enough water to do the science numbers and this and that and blah, blah, blah. So thank you, Lady V, for asking that question. I hope my team is here to on this Q&A. I'm not sure if you guys, I haven't seen you guys on the chats yet, but if you're here, help me write that down and put it in the our chats so I can remember after this Q&A to look into that too. So thank you so much, Lady V. That's a great question, and I don't have the answer to that, but that gave me another lead. So thank you so much. I really appreciate for that lead. And you guys, thanks so much for those questions. I'm telling you, those questions brings a lot of answers that we can get as well. We're doing law enforcement work. Thank you, Larnell. This is one of my team, Larnell. You could probably help me remember that if you're still on. Thank you so much. We talk about it. You put it in the chats for me. I can remember that just to find out how in the heck the Ken be doing his job without a Matrix employee there to do the job. How can they get the report? And then another thing, you guys, my son had samples in his vehicle. I did talk to Matrix before, and they say sometimes they turn them in a day later or something like that or whatever. That's of course. But the thing that gets me the most is that there was a report from that well done. This is at the end of the month. Like, think about it, it's just June 23rd when my son went missing. He's working as well, and he's supposed to be in there. Had he not gone missing, he would have been there, and they did this report. So where the report came from, and I wonder why there's Matrix saying these samples supposed to came from that well, according to Matrix, right? They needed to they say they trillium is a trillium deal, and those samples. So how my son has samples of this well if he didn't go get those samples, how I get in his vehicle? Because these samples in the vehicle, and they've been begging me, and Mr. McGrath, and I hope he never did that and pull anything out that vehicle, because I told him directly, straightforward, don't give Matrix anything out of that vehicle. Is under investigation, and but they've been begging. I heard them asking no more, so that made me weary about that. I have never seen what's left in that vehicle, what's been taken from there. Only person that has access to this, Mr. McGrath. But the thing is, there's supposed to have been some, like I described to you guys, some little baggies with dirt. Those are samples of those wells and what type of stuff they need to determine a lot of stuff. So, yeah, this question just came back to me. Thank you, Larnell. If you can put that on the chats for me to look into that. How in the hell did Ken continue to do his job without a Matrix employee working all day that day? He would have had to shut that well site down. So how he's working all day, and what does his job entail for him to be able to work all day without Matrix being there to get this information that need to be done. All right, because he can't do it. That's not his job. Okay, thank you so much for that question. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Barry, for putting that there. I do see it that you put it in the chats for me in our group chats. I really appreciate that. Thanks so much for doing that. Also, let's see here. Anybody have any more questions? Thank you again, Barry, for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for putting that, like I said, putting that in our chat so I can remember. All right, question from you. Do you believe all responsibility law enforcement are playing the long waiting game, hoping you will vacate your search for Daniel? And I do believe that, you guys. That's why I be really, one thing I'm tell you something, guys. This is amazing. I'll tell you about me a little bit. It's amazing for me to be a guy who's have a lot of pride. I can be honest with you guys. I have a lot of pride. I'm a military dude. And when I first came out of Arizona, I didn't know how much it's going to cost to the cost of living in South Carolina is a lot different from Arizona, first of all. But I didn't know how much it's going to cost to be out there in Arizona, how much it's going to cost to try. I have never done anything in my life. Nobody have come to look for it. It's not something you have to learn as you go. It's nothing that you just come automatic with. You don't know how to go search for your loved one. You don't know what to expect. I never had a missing loved one before in my life. Never thought I would. So you go out there and you go searching for your loved one, and then you hit a wall because now you got a wall of financial dust. How you gonna get the searches going? How you gonna get this information out there? Who you gonna talk to? This, that, blah, blah, blah. It never organizing thing in your life. So you figured all that stuff out and get it going. And the way I take it, what Barry is saying is, the way I take it is, law enforcement, when Buckeye gave me everything, they was hoping. I really believe this. I really believe it too, that they hope that I'm running out of funding. I run out of steam or whatever. They say, hey, let's wait the long game. He'll disappear. They got another thing coming. I'm telling you, I don't like to be handled. When people try to handle me, that doesn't make me come back stronger, right? I get quiet. Like, they probably thought I got quiet when Chief Hall wrote that bogus behind response to my request to have my son case moved to a different jurisdiction. He gave me a response in front of all those people. I did not respond back to him. I started to, but I didn't. I said, you know what, to myself, I like, look, I'm going to show you better than I can tell you. I will be a thorn in their flesh until my son get justice. Sheriff Penzone as well. He's elected official. I would be a thorn in their flesh until my son get justice that he deserved, right? And so what I'm saying, you guys, um, um, you know, they can play the long game, but I can play the long game too. I'm a retired military guy. They go to work every day. I don't have to. This is my job to search for my son. So I'll be a thorn in the flesh all day, every day, much as I can, and especially. So I guess you guys, I'm telling you guys, being a retired military guy, I really appreciate you guys for helping me during the time to keep my boots on the ground, to remain effective and keep on the fight with this law enforcement. Because I'm telling you, if you guys haven't got me there and had these searches done, none of the things that we have so far in my son's case would ever had happened. There would have been these searches that law enforcement finally had to do. There would have been no information about this vehicle because they would have kicked that thing out of. They had found the vehicle was towed off somewhere, like you said, or somebody had to pay storage fees. There would have been no investigation into it. There would have been no holding. You see, they ain't holding no evidence. They gave them the mark safekeeping. There would have been, if I wasn't there to have these things housed right now, there would be no holding of evidence right now, just in case for a future court case or whatever the case may be, get information or whatever the case may be. Um, all of this. Law enforcement would have threw it away, man. I'm telling you. And it would be, and then they would throw him in the closet and call it a cold case status. Well, we did all we can do. And they throw it in the closet somewhere. Not my son. They got the wrong person. They got somebody from South Carolina, a retired military guy from South Carolina that would be a thorn in their flesh. And I'm going to make it a point to be a thorn in their flesh. So, no, they can wait the long game. I can wait the long game. I can ride the long game too. All right. All right. Thank you also for this question. Why did Buckeye Police take 2 years to search the well? And that's a good question. You know, I have what his name is, Lieutenant Angel, I think his name was, from the Buckeye Police Department on video. I was happening to do a live out there on my searches. I asked Buckeye to come out there. They sent them same bogus persons out there with empty-handed, wasn't there prepared to search their wells and things like that, right? And he admitted to me that day on tape they never came out. And now think about this, guys. They say on the 25th, they claiming they did a search for Daniel. Oh, he was in the area. And this, yeah, he was in the area. I'm telling you, the area meant from Officer Cruz riding up down South Sunnyvale Parkway. That's the area. They ain't been in the desert looking for Daniel on that day one. And also, he admitted they have never been to that well site ever. They've been south of that well site looking for some other area down there somewhere, but they never been to that well site. So they never been to the well site. It goes with the story that Ken gave that day saying, yeah, I ain't seen no helicopter here. I ain't seen no police. They never searched for Daniel, you guys. That's why I said that's probably why Phoenix Firebird, they can't find a record. And we still looking. They can't find a record of that helicopter ever flew looking for Daniel. So I'm saying, you guys, these are things that I'm saying. So it took them 2 years to go. Almost 2 years now. It's almost 2 years that they finally went into this well. I've been asking. I don't want to find the true well site. First of all, you guys, they didn't know where Daniel been missing at. I'm going by the Ken's story and found the true well site. Had found that thing that like a human skull on the bottom of it. Videotape. Had got my own cameras down in there to do a real search of this well that they did a bogus search of. The Buckeye Police Department. It took them that long, like she's saying here. And now they just in the last year, I think the beginning of this year, in last year, going to pull the things out of that well. So yes, that's what I'm saying, you guys, because you see Buckeye putting this stuff on their social media platforms and these law enforcement, they putting stuff on like they want some kind of reward, like to show you guys, oh, we did a lot to try to find Dan. We got a timeline on here, and we did this. That's timeline bogus. I'm telling you guys, I'm gonna put the time. Speaking of that, you guys, I'm gonna give y'all. I'm still working on the timeline. I did give it to some officials. I'll tell you exactly who they are, but I'm working on a separate timeline, you guys, and this is very detailed. And when your guys see that, it's a bit rebuttal to what they have on their website, right? They cannot erase it because I got everything on the website. They documented what they're saying on their website. And when y'all see the actualities and the things they said, then you can see how they falsify a lot of things. The Buckeye Police Department, they don't have their stuff together. They make up things as they go. They did provide an explanation. Did they provide an explanation? No, they did not. All right. Madison, thanks so much for the question. Something that I was always had on my mind while learning the details of this case. When Daniel's phone was found, the only deleted messages was from the girl he met with delivering the Instacart. That is correct. Why do you think only hers was deleted? This sticks out to me. Do you think this is just a coincidence, or do you think it's more of a meaning? And I think it is. And nothing. I'm telling you something, guys, and I'm gonna say it this way: nothing in this case to Buckeye Police Department is considered foul play or suspicious, right? Nothing. They anything that's even some remotely suspicious, they'll try to explain the way out of it, explain the way as why they feel like it's not. They don't want to look into it at all. But anyway, whenever you receive a cell phone that Detective Biffin told me he put in his back pocket from the scene, and he also told me that he cloned it, which is probably violating my son's civil rights or something. But anyway, think about this: if they saying that they believe that Daniel's just a missing person and they cloning his phone without some real investigation of foul play, that's really legally violating his civil rights, and that's one thing I got them on definitely on record about as well. But anyway, Detective Biffin, he says he put it in his pocket, told me that, right? Then when I received my son's phone, it's missing a memory card I gave him a few months before he went missing, that he needed a bigger memory card. It's missing the memory card. That was gone. The Google history is wiped. The Google Maps was wiped. Oh no, well, I say taking out the phone. Wipe, right? And everything is in the phone intact when it comes to, like you were saying, Madison, is the text messages from myself, my family. I could read everybody's friends to you name it, some other things, details about my son. I could read all of that stuff. Everything's still there. All the messages I sent him, I'm just talking me that I know personally I sent. There, nothing missing, pictures, this, that, blah, blah, blah. And except for everything about this young lady. This young lady, you guys, there's still questions about why only her stuff was deleted out of the phone, why Buckeye allow her to upload her own text messages to their report, right? Her own text message that don't match Daniel's phone records. First of all, don't match. So something is missing. In other words, they don't match, right? But they taking it as gospel for them, and they let her upload her own thing to their like hearsay. They're not showing you. They're claiming, oh, we recovered some. Show it. If you guys recovered some messages out of his thing, show it. Put it in the police report just like you did this girl's report and match it up, because it don't exist. They're lying. Falsification. That's my opinion. False. Again, they get caught up with so many stuff, you guys. Show it, all right? Because they can't. The other party is, you guys, with this, what you're asking about, her things, all her stuff is deleted, picture-wise. Everything that was on Instagram, the account that I guess they was friends on, been missing. Only thing that was in his phone was concerning her was her name and her number, right? Still was there. Everything was wiped out, right? The other thing you guys got to ask the questions about this young lady is, who is the second person? My son, before he went missing, told me he spent the night with these two women in that house. He described the house to me. He described a lot of things you guys don't know about the story that Daniel told me personally before he went missing, right? And we still, to this day, this woman is hidden. Where's her report about what happened that night? Where's her story? Who is she? That type of stuff. So Buckeye, I'm telling you, they're hiding a lot of things, you guys, and it seemed like a bunch of cover up for whatever reason. And that's why I've been begging other law enforcement agents, Sheriff Penzone, and I get it. These law enforcement of the blue is the blue. They don't care about your family. They don't care, but they care about that blue, though. They're going to stick out there, because I keep watching how these law enforcement agencies, every time I ask them about Daniel K, they say, it's Buckeye's case, and we're not going to do this, and we're not going to do that because we don't want to step on Buckeye's toes or something. I mean, like, you see the people are being corrupt, and you're not going to do it. You're a law enforcement agency and not going to do anything? What kind of crap is that? Especially Sheriff Penzone, his jurisdiction is over the Buckeye Police Department, you guys. He can look into things. They're not willing to look into another law enforcement agent to see what's going on, right? That's why you guys, it's very important. You know what I'm saying? You guys want to keep fighting and saying, I'm going to keep going up the ladder until we get things done the proper way. But anyway, y'all will be amazed at some other things that happen in the background as well to try to get some movements going. But again, I agree with you on this, those deleted messages. I know the messages was there because you look at Daniel's phone records. Of course, you can't read the messages and see what they was talking about, but you look at the timestamps when these messages were sent, and then you go with the Buckeye Police Department report that they have, and it don't match. Some things match, but a lot of them missing. So and you wonder why. What was really said? What was the details of their relationship? My son ain't just no stalker, some guy. You got one part of her saying, yeah, come over whenever you want to. And then the other part, why are you coming over here? This like some flip out, like some bipolar type thing or something. Some weird thing going on with that. So the whole point is I'm saying, you guys, yes, when it comes to that question, Madison, I agree with you. There's some really detailed parts on it that need to be answered. Okay, so there's another question from Barry. Thanks so much. What prompted Buckeye to search that well almost 2 years later? It was me. I'm sure they was listening to this Q&A. They was listening to me making a big deal about it. And, you know, I did talk to Sheriff Penzone about it. Maybe he called them and said something to them about it. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, they did it underhandedly. Again, just like they did with the FBI thing. Didn't let me know. If I didn't so happen to call that day on an unrelated thing, they probably wouldn't have said nothing to me at all. But they threw it up on, disrespectfully again, threw it all up on social media without even alerting me what they was going to do. They went to Chief Hall, show up at a search and showed the public where this location was, this crime scene. I guess he wanted them all over it to contaminate it or something. Make sure y'all step all over it now. Make sure so nobody can come back and say we can go look for some information, some evidence or something. I don't know, because everybody been trampled all over it now. Why would a chief of police take somebody to a crime scene, and even though they don't want to call it a crime scene, they have volunteer people who don't know where it's at to trample all over it or something. You know, you ask those kind of questions to yourself. All right, what prompted the Buckeye Police Department to search that well almost 2 years later? I do not know. Outside of me, because I do know they watch this Q&A. They're watching right now. So hello to you, law enforcement agencies. Thank you so much for coming to Q&A. I know some of you may be asking me questions under an alias or whatever the case may be, but I'll be happy to answer your questions as well. Also, you guys, let me see. Thank you, Barry, again. Has Sheriff Penzone had a conversation with Buckeye Chief Hall regarding his mishandling of the case? I doubt it. Again, I really feel like Sheriff Penzone is a blue. You guys, when I say that, I'm not saying nothing bad about Sheriff Penzone. What I'm saying is my opinion about him as a guy. Like I told you guys before, I think he's my first impression was straight up man. Got empathy. He told me about it. He prayed and said he's praying for me and my family, gave condolences, you name it. So as a person, I'm like, hey, I think a lot of them of a person. At the same time, you know what I'm saying, I see the actions that say something different when it comes to what you can do the right thing and you just don't, right? And I'm not impressed, and I can say it over and over again about search. I'm not a person to get bought off by some type of work that law enforcement should have did in the first place. Like somehow, oh, you're doing it now, and I'm supposed to say, oh, yeah, y'all really okay? Well, let's go ahead and walk hand in hand, and let's. No, I'm not. No, it's not going to happen that way. I'm a father looking for my son, and if it's his son, this would not be rolling this way. The way he's treating all of them, all the law enforcement. The way this thing is rolling out in this case, it would not be treated the way, God forbid, if Sheriff Penzone's son went missing, right? You'll see a total different way this thing would have rolled. If it was been a missing law enforcement officer vehicle, like I said before in the past, on that ground intervene, it would have been a total different way this thing been handled. It would have been it's just a missing person. This officer just left and he's missing. You know, it would have been an automatic crime scene. Automatic. No, not even looking at, and they would have been friends of everything you could think of. Everybody doing what they're supposed to do. because it was a little young black man coming from South Carolina. Yeah, he's just a missing person, right, to this date. So has Sheriff Penzone had any conversation with the Buckeye chief police? I don't know he had a conversation with him or not, but where it looks, no. No, not that I know of, not that I'm aware of. He had no conversations with him because you know what? If there was some conversations going on, I should be knowing about that, about the mishandling, because I'm naming the mishandling of this case, of my son's case, to Sheriff Penzone and as well as to the Buckeye Police, the Tempe Police Department, as well as to try to reach out to the FBI, to you name it, Justice Department as well. So you guys, I've been reaching out to these law enforcement agencies to express what things don't seem right and things that the conflict of interest is the word I told with Sheriff Penzone, the conflict of interest that's going on in my son's case that I would not be able to talk about publicly. But there's a lot of things they know. They know, and nobody's moving towards. Nobody want to police the police. Police don't want to police the police. They want to just help them look good. Let's go ahead and do a search so the Buckeye Police Department take. You know what? You guys saw a search that came up, and I'll tell you guys this for those who don't know. There was a search that Buckeye Police Department put on their Twitter and this and that. They said, "Oh, we was out there searching. We had another search effort for Daniel." That wasn't a search. That was Sheriff Penzone search, the Maricopa County search. And how I know? Because I was a part of that. When I say a part of that, I was a direct part of that. At Buckeye, there was not a Buckeye operation, but because the Blue want to make the Blue look good, they allowed Buckeye to take credit for that. So you guys are like, "Oh man, Buckeye was out there searching for Daniel." No, they're hurting Daniel's case, you guys. And it seems like law enforcement is unwilling to stop it and to get something else done in my son's case. And instead of doing that, they're willing to try to help the public look at Buckeye in a better light. You know what I'm saying? That's more concern to them than to actually find my son, is to make law enforcement look good somehow. No, we're not gonna accept that. I'm not accepting that. Not even just a tad. You guys, Country Girl, thanks so much for your question. Do you think other law enforcement agents are being told not to assist you? I hope not. I hope not, because you know what? If that's the truth, then no law enforcement agency in this country can say they are good officers out here working in these police departments. That means that'll prove that there's no such thing as good policemen. Not at all. You know, good is only in the good of the eye of the beholder, if you want to say, because it would mean that it's really no really good officers out there, period. Because like I said, again, you guys, the only way justice will be done if you're a law enforcement agency and you're a handle of justice, then that's what you do. No matter who the person is, they are a law enforcement judge, whoever, they're being corrupt, doing the wrong thing. And if you're not the one to stop it, and you saying you put your hands up and saying you swore to defend and protect the community, and you're not doing your job, you're a bad cop. When you go cover up for somebody else, for another officer, because you want that department to look good, you're a bad cop. That's just the bottom line. There's no way around that. So anyway, you guys, thanks so much, Barry, for putting this on. Please find form letters on pleasehelpfinddane.com, which will help support David Robinson get information from law enforcement. I really appreciate that. Country Girl, thanks for your question. Do you know what work Daniel did on Monday and Tuesday of that week? No, I do not. Do I? No, I do not. I'm assuming it probably been another well job, but it wasn't anything with the Trillium project, is what it was called at the time. But I could find out. I don't know if it have any bearings on anything, but yes, I don't know the answer to that one. What he been doing those days prior, job wise. Question: is it possible that either of the females that Daniel stayed with that night have any connection to the police, uh, police of higher ups? It's possible. Anything's possible. You'll be surprised about a lot of stuff, a lot of conflict of interest and things like that. So yeah, you'll be very surprised. Very surprised. And so that's what I'm saying, you guys. Only way you guys would actually know that one day, or know any information, things like that, is if a true law enforcement agencies who is not corrupt themselves, or who's a so-called good police and good cop, will be looking into things like that for a person like me and my family, you know, for Daniel purposes, because their job is to defend and protect not each other, defend and protect the community that they serve. And so then again, we would never know that unless law enforcement do the right thing. Also, don't forget to hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Thank you, Barry, for doing that. Share button and subscribe button. So you guys, that help the algorithms get this channel growing. I really appreciate it. I don't have any more questions. So I think this must, as soon as I said it, Lady V, thanks so much for your question. Have you contacted OSHA? No, I have not. And I think OSHA has something to do with, it's been a long time because I used to work in warehouses when I was young. And I know OSHA is always come in whenever you have some situation, I'll put it that way, with the company. So you can help me remember exactly what OSHA does, but I don't know how that would help what I'm doing. If you can explain that, Lady V. Thank you. All right, so you guys, I don't see any more questions. Again, to recap, you guys, if you can, go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com and help me definitely get these letters out. I'm trying to see if I have something here for you guys. I'm trying to see here what this is. I got on my preset I think it was something I want to show you guys, but maybe not. Okay. But yeah, if you guys can go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com again, hit that PDF button. Try your best if you can. You guys get. I'm trying to get thousands of people. Don't send them this week. You guys, hold on to them, and we're gonna send it off together. Everybody send it off at one time to get it there together. Because that's why I did a 3-day window. Because if you live on the East Coast, it's probably very important that you guys send it off on Monday, because it's gonna take about 3 days to get there. If you live on the West Coast and you live in Arizona or you live in California, it may take the next day. So you get what I'm saying? So kind of prepare, but kind of keep it in that window of next week. And because when we all send them out together, they all will show up together. That's called a protest. And we're showing up together, and we're getting thousands of these flyers. I mean, these I'm thinking about flyers so much. We get thousands of these PDFs and these letters out to these agencies, and we'll make a statement. All right. So again, I'm going to make it a little sharper so you guys can understand. Because I'm seeing that that maybe some of you probably already sent your letters off, and that's like I'm saying. I need you guys. We're gonna send it together. That's the most important part. That's the reason why we have to do this way. And so I'm going to probably rewrite it on the website to try to explain it better. Maybe my explanations are not clear enough. I need to put the window time date on top or something like that, so easier to see, and then go from there. This explanation. So guys, you guys know not to just mail them out, because I don't need them just coming in, randomly just coming in. I need it all coming in at one time, all together. Again, thank you so much, you guys, and thanks so much for putting the OSHA thing up for me, Ashley. I really appreciate it. OSHA is a workplace incident. Okay, for incidents. Okay, yes, that's for what I said. I was working at warehouse and we had incidents, and yeah, some things happen, and OSHA is being called. So again, thank you so much for putting that up. That'll probably be for Daniel's job, but some things, some questions we have for that job company as well. Thank you for your prayers, Medicine. I really appreciate that. Yes, and those letters again, Medicine. Please, you guys can wait for that window, and send them off so we send them all together. All right, and thank them. All right, thank you so much, Anissa, as well. Again, I really appreciate you. Yeah, and if you have already sent them, you say you already sent them. I think you have those. If you already sent them, Anissa, thank you so much again for doing that. And at the same time, you can also try to encourage others. But like I said, you guys, I want to go back to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. Please try to get it in that window. That is very important to have that window. That window. It need to be set. That window need to be set, you guys. I definitely need to have it that way. So again, is that right here says download and print, but what I need to do is move this right here. I think everybody probably missed this. Might need to be at the top of this line here. It says mail-in windows April the 10th, 2023 to April the 13th. So what I'm saying is, guys, if you live on that's Monday, April the 10th is a Monday. It's coming. You live on the East Coast, you guys. It'd be preferably if you guys could send it off on Monday. live out on the West Coast, you can send out anytime you feel between the 10th and the 13th. But really, I put it that way because I want to get people who's out on the East Coast to be able to send it out on Monday so it can meet those who live already over there, already live in the West Side. So that's the most important part too, as well as getting that all the letters to come into those organizations all at one time. The way I can imagine it in my head, you guys, the post office truck pull up because they usually have a man pull up and he has so many letters coming in at one time. They have to send a special truck to deliver all these mails to them, right? And that's the way I want it to go. So thank you guys. I really appreciate it. For coming in this Q&A again. I'm Dave Robinson, the father geologist, Dan Cornelius Robinson. I really appreciate your time. Thank you for those who so gave me the happy birthday wishes and showing the love and support. Those who already sent those letters out, those who did send the letters out, continue to encourage others to send them out. So, but send them out on that window again. But thank you guys so much for everything. I appreciate you, and I'll see you all on the next Q&A or one of the lives. Take care of yourself. Good night.